Okay.
Hell
Sick.
yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Got it.
The sigh of relief as the computer voice tells
Yeah,
us the news.
yeah. Oh man, that panic. All gone.
All right.
We started the meeting early so we could try to figure this
It took
out.
like 15 minutes and we were still trying to figure it out.
It's all good. We're chilling.
All
Yeah, it's all
good. Yeah,
good.
we're hanging.
Oh, good.
I'm Steph, by the way. I know you guys already met Bailey Joe, but I wasn't. I could not make it.
Uh,
Hello,
Yeah, she's
hello, Steph and
co-owner,
Bailey Joe.
co-writer.
yeah, guys, you'll
Hello.
remember we met Bailey Joe in Grand Rapids.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, Bailey Joe.
I don't know which one, but one of you looks very familiar. So that
Mm,
this
Yes.
yeah,
makes
I was thinking the
sense.
Not
same.
me.
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same.
Hell yeah.
All right. I
Cool.
guess we'll get into it. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves, who you are in the band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Graham.
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 I play bass and I sing.
I'm Maddie. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Seb. I play lead guitar.
I'm London and I play drums.
I'm so glad, Seb, that you didn't say I'm Seb and I just play lead guitar. Like it, 'cause you said I've played lead guitar. Like there was no just, this time.
Yeah,
Put some
yeah.
respect on his name.
We're growing.
I had
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long, hard thought process of that because my dad brought that up to me too. He was like, "You're not just a lead guitar player," and I was
Oh,
like,
Yeah,
really? You said
"Damn,
that?
yeah."
That's awesome.
you're the lead guitarist, Sebington.
Yeah.
There is none other.
All right.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been playing separately and then as a band?
Um, we can just keep going in order, Graham. You wanna do
Okay.
it?
Yeah. I started playing bass for this band actually. So not that long. I've only been playing bass for like 4 years. 4 years? 4 years at this point? Yeah, I guess so. And you said individually and then collectively, that was the
Yes.
question. And then we've been a band. I've known Maddie for a long time, so we've kind of played music for since like I guess since like early high school. Just playing music in general together, not necessarily as the band, but um and we've probably been a band, like public band for about 2 years, which is about the time we've known Seb. Um, and and London recently came in probably 7 months ago at this point, something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're looking at. That's the current state of the band.
Um, I started playing guitar when I was 16, and it was like acoustic mostly. And I started like really playing electric guitar for this band, and so like 4 years ago or something like that. Same time Graham started to learn bass.
I've been playing guitar for 9 years now, just by myself in my well, for 3 years with the guys, and then for the other rest, just in my room by myself with my band Metallica.
Yeah.
Um,
hmm my jam band, my lesser known jam band,
yeah,
Metallica.
a
Yeah.
little known band called Metallica
They're
and
pretty
Nirvana
underground.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam, just other bands I've been a part of,
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and then yeah, mm, London.
Yeah, buddy.
That's you. You're fast.
I know. I was building up the courage.
Okay. Sorry.
Suspense. It's
He's
Yeah.
suspense.
nervous.
Yeah, I've been playing since I was like 11, 12, and then in different bands since like I was 15 to like 21, 22, and then yeah, 21 was when I started joining these guys like 7 months ago, and now they're stuck with me.
Now he's ours. He's ours.
hmm
I guess this is
Never
more
leaving.
I
of like
got
a
him.
question for Maddie and Graham, but you guys have known each other for so long. Do you feel like that helps or hurts your like relationship as band members now?
Oh, that's a good question. I was literally just talking about this with someone. Because Graham and I not only are we in the band together and we've been friends for so long, but we also lived together in a one-bedroom apartment for a year and then in a house for the rest of the 4 years that we've been out in LA because we moved from Texas to LA together. And not only that, but we worked the same job the entire time that we've been here. And for many moments have just like carpooled to work, just so I've like not been able to get away from Graham, and I think I'm like Stockholmed into like loving him forever because it's just yeah, there's no escaping. If I don't see him for like a week, I'm like, damn, I miss it. It's like kind of some codependence. So it honestly it helps. It helps because it's I can rely on that always.
Yeah, what he said. No, yeah, no, I think it definitely helps. Like, I think, you just kind of figure out there's like this sixth sense when you know someone for so long, and you've been through thick and thin, and you can kind of just like, you know, you kind of just have the sixth sense about them. You can kind of read when they're, maybe you shouldn't like poke the bear too much. Like maybe you're
Yeah.
being too playful and it's just like, yeah, maybe they're not in the mood or like, or I don't know. You just have this kind of unspoken synergistic quality of your friendship, and that also kind of bleeds into music and all other facets. So yeah, absolutely helps.
Right. Where did the name Return to Dust come from? Has it always been the band's name, or
It
did
has
you?
not always been the band's name. I will not tell you what it was before because
Oh
Oh, come
no!
on,
God for
insider
Why?
scoop.
God
Come
forbid,
on.
God forbid someone finds out. Um,
That bad, huh?
it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Um, it comes from, we were actually talking about this before we started recording, but we play Magic the Gathering. I don't have the card on me. Does someone have the card?
I don't have the
Uh,
card, no.
Okay. Well,
not
you can
on
look
here.
it up. Yeah, Return to Dust is a magic card. You know, big curtain reveal. We're all just a bunch of nerds. We love, you know, we love that shit. So that's what it
Card
comes
games
from.
and
And
video
it's also,
games.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's also like th that was kind of the basis. That's where it started, and then we just kind of realized we're like, this is so many things, and I think it's really conducive to like the material that we write about, and I think everything that we believe this band or want this band to be. I think the name kind of um, just kind of reflects that like perfectly. So it kind of fell into our lap.
I'm gonna do some deep searching and find that original band name.
If you really tried, you could probably find it.
Yeah, do it. That's your quest.
All right, who are your guys' biggest inspirations or what? Like media or like other genres, other artists?
Oh man. Um, we all got different ones. I'll let Maddie, you can start this one if you want, or someone else. I don't care.
I definitely like a lot of like video game soundtracks. Like that has definitely influenced my music taste over the years. Like, what got me into like dark like, gothic fantasies, like Castlevania games, and they always had great music, and like Zelda games and that stuff. But as far as like music, obviously like grunge, like Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, like all that
I was
stuff.
gonna
But I
say
also love like
because your harmonies like remind me of Lane and Jerry, and I was literally gonna
Mhm.
ask you about that. Like, do you guys take inspiration from them?
Yeah, for sure. That's like the first record. That's what we were listening to a lot, and I think that's what we just kind of wanted to like start our sound off as. But you'll see as we like release more and more music, it's not all that. It's like it's more of all of our direct influences and not just so much just straight grunge because we all listen to so much different kinds of music.
Mhm.
Um, I think my wild card is I like a bunch of like 80s stuff, like the Smiths, The Cure, and I'm just all about my 80s, like disco and um, all that stuff. Yeah. Someone
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, well, I just think like I think we pull from lots of different stuff, and kind of like Maddie was saying, we used a lot of um the big grunge, 90s grunge rock era, to really kind of be our flagship for our starting sound. Like the first record is very heavily influenced by the 90s. But we get so much inspiration from all sorts of just like good music. I think like um, you really kind of have to pull from all sorts of different genres and stuff, like alternative music or like R&B. Like, it's like Seb, you're wearing an Outcast shirt right now. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
dude,
right. I found this. I'm so happy I found this.
yeah, I was gonna say that's new. I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, so we pull from all sorts of good music. Like, I mean, dude, Outkast, like, come on, like that's some of the best
Some of
like
the greatest
R&B
music.
like melodies ever. Like, it's so good, and the songs like so good. Um, and so you'd be a fool not to pull from just like good art, like, and I feel like you have to, and we try to all the time. So it's not just like rock music that we get inspiration from, but we definitely, we lean into. I feel like we kind of, we vibe more with like the heavy, not only in the sound but like lyrically. Um, so yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to add to that.
You
I
kind of
agree.
covered all bases.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
Okay, we're
I don't have any specific.
definitely a lot of influences though, for sure.
yeah.
hmm
Okay. How does your band feel differently now that you're bigger? Like how is it different from when you started and we're playing super small venues?
hmm
That's a good question. Well, I mean, honestly, we only recently started playing like bigger venues, and that's thanks to these bigger bands that are taking us out. It was definitely a huge, just, I don't know, like paradigm shift. But whenever we went from playing like, our local like DIY venue in front of like 100 or maybe 200 kids to like they're like probably weren't even there for us in the first place. Um, there's just like big community DIY show to like playing in front of like 2,500 people, with Chevelle or like or Highly Suspect or crazy crazy shift for sure. And then we were lucky enough to do our headlining tour after that, which was just really, really cool to see like all these different cities and um, the fact that like so many people were there, like in Jersey, like just to see us. It's just like, oh my God, this is such a cool, cool feeling for sure. Very validating. Um, and yeah,
Yeah, I mean the whole band I feel like was like a shot in the dark feeling because it's like everyone wants to do music for a living, and obviously we know that like 0.0001% of them actually be able to do it for a living. So it's like with those odds, it's like you're not thinking that it's going to connect with people or that you're going to be able to do it for a living. I mean, like we're working coffee shop jobs like 4 months ago, and we were like, when is this going to end? I have no idea. And it was like for the first 3 years that we were building the band and we weren't public or anything, it was like we kind of just had to hope that the music was good enough and that we would connect with an audience or something like that. Because if not, we'd probably have to, move back home or change our career paths or something like that. Because it was like
Yes.
I don't want to be broke. So it was like, yeah, definitely big shot in the dark feeling and a lot of like imposter syndrome along the way. That's like, are we doing the right thing? I mean, we like dropped out of college for this, so it's definitely very like validating to have an audience now, and just reassures us that we're on the right path. Um, Seb, do you have any thoughts? Because I feel like you joined right as we played our first show at like a dive bar to like 50 people. That was all of our coworkers from our jobs, and then now we're on these tours. So,
and
well, how do you
and
feel?
you didn't have to go to college. Like you were straight out of high school. Like you just fucking hopped into this thing, man.
hmm Yeah. Um, I guess I mean, I don't really think about that very much, like the crowd, like how big the venue is or the crowd size or who's in the crowd or whatever. I don't really think. I just if I get to
There
play
to
my
play.
guitar, yeah, if I get just to play my guitar and show people good music and move them in some sort of manner in any sort of
That's
way,
awesome.
then that's enough
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
You just worry about that, big dog. We'll worry about everything else. Okay, we'll take you along the way. Just fucking rip people's faces.
Yeah, at least yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now.
Do you guys feel like different level of respect, like as you've over like as you've gone through this change of like gaining more of a following, like not even just by like venues, but also like people in your life when you like try to talk about your music?
That's a good question. Um, I'm gonna answer that first because I immediately
Yeah.
thought of something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, I feel like it's not like respect, at least for me per se, because um and I don't ever really tell people that like, oh, I'm in a band, like I'm a musician or whatever. It's always just like whenever it's brought up in conversation, and it's usually with my family a lot. Like I've been to a lot of family parties recently, and it's usually just like, oh, like how's your music thing going? And it's more of like a demeaning thing, where it's like not a level of respect. And it's like, oh, they just see me as like a child, sort of still like, oh, they're gonna expect me to stop doing this and go to college. And I think instead of like just letting it beat me down. I'm just kind of using it just so I can prove them wrong and just be like, just you wait.
Yeah. You'll be
Yeah.
that much better
Yeah.
when
And
you're
then
proven wrong.
I'll have that level of respect and then I'll forget about it. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? It's
But
really amazing. Yeah, kind of like touching on that. Like, it's really amazing how the attitude kind of does change whenever you have an audience to show for it. And it's kind of like not like it's not like very that's not very cool, right? Like if like
yeah.
just because we have an audience doesn't mean the music is good, right? Like I think there's plenty of like really, like local bands that have like really, really good music, amazing musicians, like incredible performers, and they don't have an audience to show for it. And then they will probably get that sort of reaction that you're talking about, Seb, where like their family's like, "Oh yeah, how's the little band thing going?" It's like, well, like I mean, these are like really talented people that are like, they really have something special. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It's really interesting to see that though. Like, yes, the attitude and the respect does kind of change whenever, I don't know, whenever your follower count is high, I guess. Um, and and I it kind of sucks. Like it's cool in some way. It's like, oh yeah, I finally have
It's
the respect
frustrating
that
because
we
people
deserve.
just don't take music, like they don't take it for what it is.
Hmm.
Assume it
Yeah.
must be better because, you have more followers than some other band.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not to say that like the proud feelings that people have, like friends and family, are taken like, in vain or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
obviously yeah, I think it depends on the person and depends on like their sentiment behind, you know, I don't know, just like what they actually feel. And, but, but I do think that that is an interesting thing. And, you know, sometimes sometimes the respect is like, I don't really think you feel that way. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how has your recording process changed throughout the years as you've gotten bigger?
Well,
I
we're
guess
about
we're
to
about to
go.
find that out,
Yeah, we're
right?
actually we kind of change it all the time. Like, I mean, we're about to go record a bunch of new stuff. Um, and we've had a lot of conversations about how we want to do that this time. Going in because, we kind of go in these like kind of small like shotgun batches, kind of all the time. And like people always ask like, "Oh, are you recording?" Or like always like, "Yes." But this time we're kind of taking a different approach, and we had a really good conversation a couple weeks ago about how we really want to go about it. And I think in the past we had to be a little bit safer going in, just because like I don't know, it's like I feel like now we really have the time and the freedom after putting out a record to really like play with um the I don't know, you can kind of push the boundaries and the like you identify the parameters, right? Like that's your first record, and you can really start to like kind of like edge the parameters outward and really grow what that is that you're identifying with, like the sound that you're identifying with. Um, so I think we can be a little bit looser in the studio going in. Um, I don't really know if I can explain what that means other than that. Like, yeah, I think it's a little bit more freeing. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll add a little bit. I feel like you kind of know your audience a little bit more too, because you have now been out there and like experienced their reaction to your songs and like met a vast majority of your audience in person, which is a that changes the way that you write music and yeah, and record it.
What does
Mhm.
your collaboration look like? Do you guys all bring your own parts? Are you helping each other? Or, what does that look like when you're writing a song?
We're really gonna see that in the next couple months of being in the studio because like um, London's fairly new. He's only recorded a handful of new songs with us, but I feel like you're gonna have like this is gonna be the most like creatively showing every band member's like influence and everything on the songs we record in the next couple months, which is gonna be really cool to see. Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. What was the question
Like,
exactly?
what does your collaboration process look like writing a song? Like up to this point, what does it look like?
Is there one like
Right.
person that does the lyrics or anything or
So Graham and I usually write the lyrics and the melodies, and then everything else just kind of happens uh, around that. Like we might have some chords that we have, and then make a riff out of it, or we might have a riff, and we'll build the rest of the song around it. Um, but yeah, yeah. Usually it's a big collaborative effort. I mean, it's a band at the end of the day, so I feel like it's got to be. Everyone's got to have their own voice, and we're gonna be playing these songs for the rest of our lives, so we should probably like them. Every person should like
All
all
of
All
of
of
us
us.
us, right?
and
Yeah.
write them.
Yeah, most of the songs start on an acoustic guitar. We tried to like, put it in its simplest form when presenting it in the like before recording it, you know? Um, and I think it really gives the song, like the essence of the song, kind of space to shine. And then you can kind of figure out all the little production elements around the song, like once you know what that is. Um, and usually that comes in the form of, just like like sometimes it's just a chorus, and sometimes it's just a verse and a chorus, and maybe we don't have a bridge yet. Maybe we don't really know that a solo should be there, but then we kind of figure it out while we're recording it, and we're like, okay, Seb, like, give us your best solo, like whatever. Um, but yeah, and it's all like when we go to record it. I feel like it's just like an all hands on deck situation. Like everyone's trying to figure out the drum groove. Everyone's trying to figure out the chord voicings, the bass line, our friend Ryan, who is our producer's like basically right hand man. Um, you know, he's like a harmony wizard. And so a lot of the times, like the harmonies that you're hearing, like we'll do like big harmony stacks to kind of like support the the atmosphere of the song. And a lot of the time that's Ryan's influence. Um, and yeah, so he's a big help in the studio. So it's just yeah, it's all hands on deck. It's a big creative team, and we just try and make the best song that we possibly can.
How do you guys incorporate your own life into your songwriting? Do you guys ever like use like a sort of code when you're like speaking about people, or is a lot of your music just not necessarily driven from like life experiences?
The songs are all life experiences, I think. Graham and I just write mostly lyric wise about like what we're feeling and what we have dealt with, and I think that's, that's the right way to do it in my opinion, because it's like then you make that human connection with people, and that way people can relate to what you're doing, It's like I think that songs can be feel really out of touch sometimes if it's just like, well, let's just write about something, let's write about this. And you're not like empathizing and like really like feeling like internalizing what that emotion is, and putting it out in a song,
Yeah, it's like
what
kind
it
of like writing
feels like.
about it's like writing about a breakup and you've never been broken up with or never broke, you know what I mean? It's like how do you do that?
Yeah, you don't have
Um,
that perspective on it, so it kind of just feels like you're writing crap. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So I think it's largely unintentional, but we do write about typically just yeah, life experience, whether it's a specific thing that happened or just a general um, you know, feeling or yeah.
How do you guys approach an album? Like, do you go into it like looking to create a cohesive story, or is it just your favorites that you've recorded recently?
I think kind of just the favorites. I think like Declan McKenna said it at one point where he was like, you don't really know what the album looks like until you're like near the end of it, and then you're like, oh, that all makes sense. Why all those songs? Why I wrote these songs? Why they're uh, and then it just kind of makes sense. Like as you get closer to the end of it, once you're staring at the whole body of work, you're like, these all make sense together. These are all my favorites. It all makes sense. Put these together, ship it out. I think it's kind of a flowy, like just kind of thing. Like just trust your gut. And yeah. Anyone else?
Um,
Yeah.
Is
No, I
this thing on?
um Seb, it looks like you got something.
I was gonna say that I kind of look at like when building an album, kind of building like a set list to a show. The set list has to like has to have a vibe the whole time to certain songs. Like you got to start them off with a banger and then maybe keep going with the bangers. And then like there's a certain point where everything slows down and then you get melancholy with it. And then there's a certain point where bring it back up. Like whatever vibe there is, you just fit whatever new song best fits that vibe. That's how I look at it. Good closer
Yeah.
at the end, you know.
There's definitely got to be a flow to it. I wasn't with them for the first record cycle, but definitely very excited to be a part of it for the second and seeing what songs go where and how it all plays out because it definitely has like a big impact on the listener, just how the songs are arranged for sure.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get like I mean I still listen to records like top down. Like
Yeah, it's the
that's
best.
like it's just the way that they meant for you to listen to it, and I think that
Hmm.
that's like it really says something. And sometimes I think what's cool is like, sometimes you can just kind of play it from the middle, you can just be like, I'll start it from here. But it's kind of, it's still in order and it's,
yeah, it's
Mhm.
you're
still like a
It makes
cycle.
so
Yeah.
much more sense when you listen to that top to bottom.
yeah, yeah. So,
Hmm.
um
I go in and out of my Queens of the Stone Age phases, and I just like recently have just been listening to them like crazy. And just like the album, Songs for the Deaf is just the perfectly constructed album. like
Hmm.
the tones, the feelings of the songs, the meaning. Like it's a concept album. Like it's supposed to be you can put it on from a drive to LA to Joshua Tree, and it like it has all the feelings of like driving through the desert and or starting in the city and then driving through the desert, and it's just and Joshua Tree is where Josh Homme grew up, so it's just like it's such a cool, just perfectly crafted album. I mean, like that's got to be one of the best rock records ever written, like of all time. It's just truly amazing. So
Hmm.
I think like I look towards the best examples like that for like how do you maximize your worth of an album right there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I love that. I feel that exact same way with albums. Like,
Hmm.
I always listen to Damn on just a free time by Kendrick Lamar. Just put it on, good album. And every time I listen to it on this specific break that I've been on, I think I listened to it like 4 different times. I felt like a different meaning to it, and it's just like that's the beauty to an album right there. It's like you can peel back a layer every single time. And hi, Neon. Uh, hi. Yeah. Can you wait outside for a quick second? Thank you. I'll be right there. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Who is that?
Um, what was I saying? I love that you could just peel back many, many layers to an album that's, first of all, well crafted, and that's that's a goal for
Yeah.
this band and for me at some point is
It's
a
like
good,
good,
well
it's like a
crafted
good book.
album. Yeah, it's like a good book. You read it and
Yeah.
you're just like you always see those memes where it's like book lovers when they're reading a good part and they're like they close in and they're like, damn, that shit was like that's true though. Is you're like, damn, that line right there went hard. That was a bar. Like
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Mm.
You feel that a lot in a book or and I love it's just that same feeling in
So
a
it
lot of
feels like
different
you
things.
guys as listeners, you're trying to like sort of inspire the same feelings with your own album.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think got to look towards the best examples and like the only again like uh being like internalizing that feeling of what did I feel when I listened to this great piece of music or this read this great book or this great poem or movie or whatever. Like I want to do that for other people. How do I do that? How do I make that feeling for other people? And you should aspire. I think every artist should aspire to do that. It's like
Hmm.
All right, you guys just went on like a headlining tour. Do you guys prefer the bigger or smaller venues? And then also, what was your favorite city to play in?
I think we all got a favorite city. I think it all is the same for all of us. And it's Toronto, dude. Am I wrong?
I mean, no,
no, yeah,
Toronto
that's
is
right.
pretty. It's either
Toronto
Toronto or New Jersey,
Toronto was
because
dope. New
Yeah,
Jersey was dope too. Yeah.
yeah.
Um it was just cool because like, there was like 200 people there in a different country, right? Toronto. And like it seemed like everyone in the room knew the words and like the energy was just so high and and it was just such a good show. I think like we really feed off of like what the audience is giving. It's hard not to. So, you know, um, that was just an amazing crowd. So,
So like on the flip side of that positive like experience, how
and the
hard is it to
worst
like
city was,
well like how
Yeah,
hard is it to ignore if an audience just seems
just
disinterested?
not into it.
that's a good question. And I think that
Yeah.
there's this band that I saw them doing an interview, like this one. And one of them was talking about it's this band, Sweet Spine, shout out, North Carolina. I think they're from North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that.
I think
And
South Carolina.
their drummer was talking about this exact thing, and he was like, yeah, I think we just we remember that like what we're doing is we're playing for ourselves. Like at the end of the day, like we're just in our case, we're four friends, and we're up there making music that we created and we're sharing and obviously like we're just jamming like we're jamming for ourselves and we're having a good time. And if they don't want to have a good time, sucks
That's
to
on
suck,
them.
and
They're
we're
kind of
having a good
lame.
time. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I think you just got to remember like that exact thing. Like we're here for us at the end of the day. So,
Mhm.
And what about like headlining? Do you guys prefer headlining or opening for a bigger band like Chevelle?
oh, dude,
Headlining.
headlining. Yeah.
That's our
Yeah.
show. We can do whatever we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, we can put the music on the PA, like,
That's the best part is like before a
Yeah.
yeah,
show is
man.
like a good song and that everyone knows and they're singing it and you're just
Bailey
like,
Joe was
oh,
texting me during your
yeah.
like before the show started. Bailey Joe was texting me. She's like, "Oh my god, they're playing like my
Banger
entire life
after
playlist."
banger,
I
yeah.
was so excited to
Yeah.
Yes.
go.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good. I'm so glad we got this feedback because
Yes. Insane.
this is actually the first like candid feedback about that exact thing. So I'm glad,
Yeah.
You don't
I'm
understand
glad
how
that we
upset I
got.
was that I wasn't there.
Yeah,
Like
because
it was.
as like concert goers, it really gets you in the mood. It gets you excited about the music that's supposed to come. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
you guys did really well. Really well.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I love
So I'm
it.
Thank you.
talking about
Yeah, I mean, like, it's I love yeah, it's like I love to see that. Like I love to be like, oh man, they're playing this song, Oh, they put on this because it's directly like we are responsible for the vibe. It is our show. We are responsible for the vibe. And what
Except the
better way to
openers, we
do
took
that?
no responsibility over them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
all
know
the
who they,
headlining.
yeah, uh, yeah.
We
Um,
didn't yeah, we didn't know who any of the bands on most of the headlining runs were, and that was just you know kind of had to do that, but it was okay. A lot of them were cool. A lot of them were really cool, and it was fun to get to meet people along the way. The cool young bands that are doing it.
hmm
You guys aren't a young band at all.
Yeah. Not cool either.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just play Magic the Gathering and
We're just a bunch of losers or nerds, and we don't
um,
even play cool rock
Old as
music.
that like
hell.
video game
Yeah.
soundtracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys stay sane on tour with just being in such a small space with each other all the time?
We don't.
We aren't. No, we
Yeah.
aren't.
We don't. Um,
Mm-mm.
Try
We
to.
all okay, guys. Give ourselves credit. We get along so
Yeah.
well. Like it
Oh
is
yeah, I just
constant
I just give
giggles.
us a lot. I give us a lot of shit because I find it real funny. Because then I think
Yeah,
about it. I think about it later, and I'm like, man, people think we hate each other. I love
yeah.
that. But no, it's
It's
just shits and giggles the whole time.
yeah. It is a giggle fest. But I think like it reaches a point where we realize everyone needs their privacy, and it's like okay, I'm glad we
Headphones
understand when
in.
that moment is. Yeah. Because we,
Hmm.
we all collectively are like, all right, we need each other's privacy. So I know bands that like they fuck with each other on tour, like they're like pranking each other and like throwing away their toiletry bags and
Oh,
like
dude.
I don't
I'd
know.
kill one of you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah,
sinister
we
shit.
make
Like,
we make London sleep on the floor every time at the hotel. So that's probably the worst way
Oh,
to
you
that's
guys,
true.
you gotta haze them into the band.
Don't
we
blanket it.
it's
Nothing.
it's
Just
okay.
hard.
We leave him like a little water bowl.
A water bowl in a corner with a little mat sometimes.
The leash is always
him.
way too tight.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you guys do
No, I
to
think
like I don't know, like relieve that? Like when you need your alone time, what are you doing to relax?
I like to
Um,
go.
Magic the Gathering.
Damn,
You guys have
nah,
Who's taking it? Who's taking this?
I'll say I like to
London,
listen
you're
to
kind of muffled.
Hello?
Okay, that's better, I think.
Yours?
I'll say I like to listen to a lot of music. Um and just that, I mean just like literally listen, just clock out and listen to music. either new stuff or
Yeah.
like my same playlist that's 24 hours. I think 25 now. Um, uh, I didn't, that's all I did on the last tour. I have new hobbies now that I have a break and I've had like time to
No,
think and time to myself. Um,
You're
yeah,
you're a
like
chronic music listener, bro. You are always listening to music. What were you in 0.001% of Michael Jackson listeners
oh
last year?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my man right there.
pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Seb, you're really good at like communicating when you don't want to be fucked with. Like you're like, okay, guys, like I'm clocking out. Put the AirPods, like you're
That's
very
my
good at that.
time, dude.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any like
Uh,
specific goals for the band, or you just like riding out this wave, having fun, recording and all that?
oh, the goal is to be the biggest band in the world,
Oh
man.
yeah, the goal is
That's
to be
what.
the
And the Beatles.
biggest and the best and to have music that people will rank with the greatest music and move them to a whole
Yeah.
other feeling that no one's ever felt. And maybe feelings that they have felt before, but so extreme that they can't understand it. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
Like
Everybody's brains.
humble goals, obviously.
Just change
Yeah.
the world, change everybody's perspective on life.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We want the aliens when they finally get here. Yeah.
We want to blow
Be like,
their minds too when they
whoa,
hear our
yeah.
music.
Um, yeah. Well, that's some pretty
That's the goal, dude. I don't know. I don't care
that's
what you
the
No,
say.
that's the goal. Yeah,
That's the
I
goal
don't
right
give a
there.
fuck. I want like Sauron's tower, like the Eye of Sauron. I want that to be like the Dust Tower, dude. To be meant to be Return to Dust headquarters right there.
Straight up.
It will be.
yeah. No, yeah, I think like every new record, every new body of work is just like a completely new thing. And I think that like we always want to be like thinking ahead and like have forward motion in terms of like the sound that we're making. I never want to feel like we're stagnant as a band in terms of our sound. You know, I wouldn't want that from any of my favorite bands. Like, I always want something like I don't know. I don't want the band to be on like their fourth record and be like, well, this just kind of sounds like the first record, just like kind of more polished, I guess. You
Mhm.
know, I always want to be thinking like how like I don't know, just innovating and what are some like new cool stuff that we can do, and to just make the songs that really resonate, like really resonate, and to write like good songs, and so I think that's why we try and pull from so many different um, types of music, like and why we listen to so much music is because um, at least I'm like never satisfied within like if I like just listened to like I don't know electronic music, I think I'd go crazy. Like I need everything,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so um,
With trying
yeah.
to like produce something new and innovative each time, does that like give you a lot of pressure? Does that ever like give you artist block or anything when you're trying to focus on something new?
Well,
I, I I think you got to internalize the artist block as just like a adversary to like climb over. It's like I love
Hmm.
music and songwriting because it's like a puzzle. It's like a math problem, and like when you figure out the pieces to it, it's so satisfying. And it's like, oh my God, that's what I wanted to play this entire time. That's what I was hearing, and I finally found it. And like
Yes.
that's like the great thing about writer's block or whatever. It's not like an inhibitor. It's like a mountain to be climbed over, and it's so fun. So nothing could satisfy me in this world more than like good music, like writing good music. Seriously,
Truly.
it's
Truly.
so.
That's the perfect way to put it.
All right, and then just to like wrap everything up, what are your opinions on playing in Michigan and then like Detroit specifically?
Oh my God, it was so cold.
It was.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was
God.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really
yeah.
cool.
We'll see y'all in summer. We'll maybe come there in May.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, we'll be pretty close. Columbus is pretty close, right?
Yeah, it's like four, I think 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn,
That's not bad.
like a
Well, that's what
hefty
we have
drive.
scheduled.
I don't know.
We'll be
Yeah,
at the we'll be at the
that's
old
what we have
school.
scheduled right now. But we'll definitely have more. We'll probably have another headlining tour next year, and like supporting new music. And I'm sure we'll go through Michigan because we played there twice now, I think. So yeah, you got to. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, both times we've been there, it was really nice. It is just really cold there, so I'm glad that we're taking January and February to record, and then going back out on tour in the spring.
Mhm.
Okay, well, just tell us where to find you, like social media and like Apple Music, Spotify, and everything.
Yeah, or yeah.
But, uh, Return to Dust band, pretty much everywhere. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you know, MySpace,
Spotify.
uh, yeah, Spotify. There you go.
Plugging MySpace before Spotify
That's
goes
kinda
insane.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
He needs some
He's
media training.
he's on Napster, Facebook, MySpace.
Reddit.
Yeah,
Reddit.
Reddit. Yeah, you can find us slash
All the
Return to Dust.
online Magic the Gathering groups.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
They probably exist. They probably exist.
Well, I'm sure. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. And we'll be staying in tune for this new album you guys got coming out or recording.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yes, truly.
Indeed.
Yeah. Y'all have a good New Year's.